Thanks for stopping back by Wild Bird Creative. Just going to work with an unusual color palette today. I've got lime green, brilliant red, and cadmium orange here. Now, a lot of people would say, oh, no, don't use these, don't mix these, you'll end up with just a gross brown. Well, brown is a color, and there are some great tones of it. And if you overmix, yes, you will end up with an overall brown tone. But if you mix it just right, you might end up with a terracotta tone or a green-brown tone. Colors are not set in stone. You can mix them however you want. We all have our preferred colors. We all have ones we don't really like. But try them. Give things a shot. See what works. I have just a piece of Deli paper down here. And I'm just going to put a little bit of orange out here, a little bit of the red, a little more of the red actually, and then just a few pops of green. And I'm just going to start rolling them together. I might even add a little more green to this, because this is coming out a little oranger than I want, but that's okay. Pop a little green right on top. It's going to make a great base to work from. If you don't have a gel plate, use wax paper or Deli paper. There we go. Let me set this aside. Now, a lot of people would say, oh, this is gross. It's not a great color. And I guess if I was painting someone's portrait, yeah, probably not so flattering. But in mixed media, you can do what you want. So I have just a piece of plain old gift tissue here. And all I'm going to do is just press it down on top of a Stencil Girl stencil. And what's nice is with tissue paper, you can really see where the colors are coming through and where you need to go back in to get the detail. So this is 3691. Let me just pull this up carefully. And there we go. I have just a lovely burnt orange. Oh, the greens show through. It's a very natural color. I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to pick my stencil up and set it aside. Get it out of the way so that I don't have to worry about it. And there's a little bit of detail on here that I would like to capture. So let me just grab a plain old piece of newsprint that's lying around. And this will be a very delicate print. It'll be more color than detail. But there it is. That will be a wonderful background piece. I'm going to set everything aside to dry. I can even use my sheet of Deli paper as a background. I can add more to it, or I can simply fold it up like this, set it aside so it doesn't make a mess. I'm going to go wash off my stencil and my brayer, and then we'll come back and we'll make a page. Here's my surface. It's a 9x9 piece of heavy watercolor paper, and I am using some raw sienna because I want the background to have a nice, solid, warm tone. And all I'm doing is just using a paint tool, a little scraper. You can use a gift card. You can use a palette knife. You know, use what you have, as I always say. And I'm just going to come back the other way, just breaking up the background. Just making it interesting. It gives you a very abstract effect, which granted, not everybody likes, but it's good to give it a try. You know, you're here to explore and try things, and this is the way to do it. And I'm just turning the sheet so that I get spots that I would miss, because of course your dominant hand, you end up kind of just going in one direction. So there we go. This will be easy to clean up. Let me set it aside. Look at that. That's nice and simple, very graphic, which I love. And once that is dry, I'm going to let it sit while we talk for a second. I'm going to tear up my tissue that I just did. And I'm also going to snip along the edge here. I know I'm doing that off camera, but I don't want to drag it all over the place. So let's just get rid of that. And I'll be laying that on there. And do another one, because I'll probably use this whole piece up. And that's okay. That's why we make backgrounds. Okay, toss that to the side. Now remember, this is just standard old boring gift wrap tissue. This isn't the wet strength. It's not art tissue. It's nothing special. You probably have a gift bag in your closet or your cellar that you can use. Okay, so this is dry enough. Let's start sticking these down. And you can use whatever adhesive you have. If you want to pull out your Mod Podge, go right ahead. Bring him in just a little bit. There we go. And just smooth it out. Look at how great that looks against that brown. Now I'm going to put the other one down here. And when I'm gluing down tissue with a glue stick, I start from the center of the piece and work out. Just makes it a little easier to handle. It doesn't fold back on itself. There we go. Now the brown still shows through, but this just adds a layer of interest to it. Now the question is, do I add another one? Or do I add two? Or do I come in with this one? I have that also. You know what? Let me tear this one and trim it along the edge. This is on the newsprint type paper. And I do like that there. It adds a little bit more of that detail from that great stencil. Same thing here. Just trim that off a little bit. And this one won't be in the corner. This one will have its own little floating spot. I'm going to get rid of that white edge. newsprint paper is a little more forgiving when you're gluing it down. It's fairly durable. You know what? Let's put it here. So there we go. We've got our base. And all I'm going to do now is bring back in the stencil. And again, this is Stencil Girl Products S691. It's a Mary Beth Shaw one. And I think the color that I want on this now, I'm thinking of black. I'm thinking that will look really good. It'll really pop. And all I'm going to do is just do it in some spots. And I'm going to go lightly. I want this to be a subtle effect. And I'm just going to come in here. And I'm letting it run out on its own. I'm not constantly refilling the sponge because I want it to really be a very subtle bit of interest. Okay, let's do one. Let me do it this way. I'm going to set it off a little bit because I want the other pattern to still show through. Just come in. See the way it just fades out? This one I'll set up just on the edge and using the last of my paint. Wipe up what I can here and get it all out. Want that little star pattern in there. So there we go. There is all the detail that I need in this piece at this moment. Now I get to decide what I'm going to put on it. Okay, all I'm going to do to finish this up is make my own tone of brown. I've got the 3 colors that I used on the Deli sheet, and this time I'm going to mix them up. Just keep going. Get them well mixed, and I want a nice reddish brown, I guess I would say. It's got some beautiful warmth to it. I'm going to bring in a tiny bit of white. And that's making it almost a terracotta color. And all I'm going to do with this is just going to be an accent. I've got my Stencil Girl stencil, and this one does not have a description on it. But if you look on their site, in their 4x4 stencils, you will find it. It's probably under abstract patterns. Just get a little bit on here. Get my glue stick out of the way. And this is just the finishing touch here for this. Just to add a very subtle detail. you'll see it just about blends in, but is enough that as I go over the black, I have these little tiny marks. Keeping this very subtle. I love these little stencils because you can move them around really, really easily. Let's put one this way. Okay, and I'm just going to keep turning it. And now I think what I will do, rest that there for a second. I'm going to bring in the bit of white that I had here. I've been looking at that, and I think I'm going to make another mid-tone. And using the same sponge, come in and just add another quick bit of detail. It's very, very gentle and subtle, which is what I want. I could have done it in a gold tone, but I didn't want to go that bold. This is all just having fun with colors. In this case, your brown and your orange tones. Don't let anybody tell you what colors you absolutely can't use. It's your art. There are enough people out there telling you how to do everything anyhow. Just have fun. Make beautiful messes. Create masterpieces. Make mistakes. That's how you're going to learn what you like and what you don't. Use up. I've only got this tiny bit left. Just come right in the middle there. And there we go. That's the end of it. There's the piece. Mix whatever colors you want. Make art as you want. I think that this is a nice warm piece. It ended up much warmer than I thought, but that's because that original brown paint that I put down was quite a warm hue. And then when I mixed the complementary colors, they gave me this lovely, deep terracotta. Just came out nice. Grab your stuff. Have some fun. Make mistakes. Do what you want. Don't listen to the haters. Enjoy yourself. Go play. What's the worst that's going to happen? You've used up some of your supplies and you've learned more skills. Thanks for stopping by. Wild Bird Creative.